Well, you probably noticed I'm not wearing my coveralls. They just weren't comfortable. So I'm back to the old work shirts. And they're getting less and less because the more I wash them, the more frayed they get. I've only got about maybe 2 pair of the 8 that I can wear in public now. They're all pretty much the same. They all have a logo here. They either say Greyhound or Grey Goose. And you're thinking, Grey Goose? Well, here in Manitoba, Grey Goose years ago, they were actually bigger than Greyhound in Manitoba. So anyway, they were at the Winnipeg bus depot where I worked. There was both companies for many, many years. Now it's just Greyhound. A point of interest here. Well, at least it's interesting to me. This is what's known as a Canuck 500. It was built right here in Canada, actually right here in Winnipeg. Now, it was built in the 60s. I drove it a little in the early 70s. Now, this thing was reliable and rugged. Look at the front bumper on that. You could actually bump into something and not do any damage, at least not to the bus. Not like the fiberglass crap that they're turning out nowadays. Anyway, second thing is, most people preferred real time over sped up. And if you watched my previous video, you know what I was talking about. And so what I'm thinking of doing is, normally my camera is right here. It's looking down just like this. And I was thinking, if I was to make a dolly with a boom that would come out and across, and I could have the camera like this, well, it will be out of my way, and not only that, but the entire mandrel will be in focus, both from end to end, instead of just the center. Normally what I'll do is I'll focus on the center of the mandrel, and then this area here is nice and sharp, but both ends are kind of fuzzy. You probably noticed that. Well, can't be helped. But if the camera is straight on it, the whole thing will be sharp. And best of all, it's going to be out of my way. But that'll be another project. And I'll be able to do a little bit more welding. And as you know, I need to practice. So anyway, I thought I'd just mention that before we get going here. I got to do something about this little crack here, and I think I'm going to take these off, and I'm going to put a little bit of CA glue on the crack just to reinforce it a little, stick them back on, and then sand it down. So let's get at that. Now I realize I'm probably going to have to end up cleaning out my brass tube again, but that's alright. Starting out with a little bit of CA thin here. Just let it soak in. I'm not going to use the curing agent. Now, after seeing the way that thin sort of sat on the top there, I'm not going to use the thick because there's just no way that the thick is going to actually soak in or get down into the crack. It's just going to sit on the top. So I'm going to use medium here. It does not a whole lot is needed, so whoops. That should be good. I'll let that soak just a little bit. Let it run in. Okay, there's been about 4 minutes has passed now. Let's see if that medium has cured or if it's still liquidy. Well, offhand, I'd say it's cured. Now, as it turns out, I did not have to do the barrel trimmer thing again or clean out the brass tube. But what I am going to do is, before I start sanding, I'm going to just take this high spot down, because what's going to happen is the sandpaper is going to ride on top of that hard CA glue, and here where it's soft, it's going to dig in and sand down a little bit more, and this whole thing is going to become kind of oblong, if you know what I mean. So before I sand, I'm just going to take this down just a little bit. Well, two things. First of all, there's two cracks. And I guess you noticed that I started out at 220 there, but I worked my way up to 800. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the cut and shine, and that'll probably be the same as maybe 1500. Should work out pretty good. I'm noticing now this is really a place where I'd like to have the camera mounted overhead to get it out of the way. It's not badly in my way, but I have to be careful not to be bumping it. Okay, work that in really good. And if you'll remember, we go from the inside out over the bushing, because the bushing will be taken down by the cut and polish. See that? And I don't want to get those iron filings stuck on the end of the blank, which is very easy to do. Whoops! I got it on there. I got to get that off. Yeah, maybe if I stop halfway, it'll work better. And we'll go this way. Stop halfway. Alright, let's crank the RPM a bit. it's not going to look a whole lot different than that. Maybe a little bit more shine, but that's about it. That is as good as it's going to get. Unless I was to use a different kind of polish maybe, but you know, it's good enough. Now I could press these together, but I think before I do that I want to turn down these other two blanks. And being as I'm going to do it exactly the same way as I did these ones, you know, I don't need to bother videoing it, but we'll do the pressing hopefully tonight. We'll see how it goes. Well, we are ready to press here. Now, one important thing that I got to remember, well, it's probably more than one, but first of all, the short ones are for the pencil. The long ones are for the pen. Well, let's do the pencil first. I have all the parts now turned in the direction I want them to go, so this will help to reduce making a stupid mistake. Okay, and press. Now I want to remember that when I press this together, I want the clip to cover this worst crack here. So what I'll do is I'll press it partway on here just to get it started, like that. Then I'll turn everything and get it adjusted just right. And then do it the rest of the way. There's got to be an easier way to do this. Yeah, maybe like that. Yeah. Yeah, that more or less hides the crack. There's a little one on this side, but I can't do anything about that. Okay, I'm going to have to readjust things here because it has to accommodate both pieces. I don't think it matters which way this goes in. They're mirror image to each other. Okay. It should fit in there. It should go in here. Now, I want to make sure I get this so that it looks the best. Guess it doesn't matter as long as I get this little dark area here lined up with either this one or, oh, there is only this one, or this little one over here. No, that wouldn't make any sense. I think I'll have it line up like this. Okay, yeah, I think that's going to be okay. I don't want to press too hard, I just want to press hard enough that it all goes together here and doesn't buckle. Okay, and press. Well, success. Now the rest, it should go like this. It should go in there, and then the nib screws on here. Yeah, that's it. The pencil's done. I will take a close look later after the pen is done. And then, of course, we'll have to do the test. Well, folks, I think I'm going to call it a night. Reason being is I'm starting to get cramps in my legs from just standing here. Yeah, there's no rush on this anyway. So, we'll see what happens tomorrow. And thank you for watching.